Before we begin, there's something you should know. According to the North American Menopause Society, there is one treatment that can reduce menopause symptoms by up to 75%. 75%. A treatment backed by decades of research, thousands of clinical cases, and an extraordinary amount of data. And yet, many women feel afraid to even consider it. How can something so effective be so misunderstood? How did hormone replacement therapy become one of the most confusing topics in women's health? Today, we step into that story. Not as a mystery, not as a debate, but as a calm, clear journey through what HRT really is. In the next chapters, I'll guide you through what HRT is, what it helps with, and what it doesn't. The real risks, based on modern science, the benefits women actually experience, and who should be careful with it. Let's begin. Imagine entering a familiar room, one you've walked into every day of your life. You know the temperature, the way the light moves across the walls, the sounds in the background. But suddenly, the room doesn't behave the way it used to. The air shifts unpredictably. The light feels too bright, then too dim. Your body reacts before you understand what's happening. This is menopause, a moment when the signals that once flowed effortlessly, estrogen, progesterone, and sometimes testosterone, begin to fade. Hormones are not extras. They're messages, instructions, calibration tools. They regulate temperature, sleep, mood, memory, metabolism, bone strength, and even how your heart responds to stress. When those signals drop, the system doesn't break, but it loses its rhythm. Hormone replacement therapy is one way to bring that rhythm back gently and in controlled doses. Not to recreate youth, not to reverse time, but to restore the signals your body once relied on. That is what HRT actually is. For many women, the early stages of menopause feel like stepping into a thick, quiet fog. Your mind doesn't move the way it used to. Your nights become broken and restless. And your body shifts in ways that feel unfamiliar, as if the rules suddenly changed without warning. Then, something subtle happens. A woman begins hormone therapy. There's no dramatic movie moment, no instant transformation, just a gentle shift, almost too soft to notice at first. She wakes up one morning and realizes she actually slept. Not lightly, not in fragments, but deeply. For the first time in a long time, her body feels rested. Over the next days, her thoughts begin to land more clearly. Her emotions feel less sharp, less reactive, as if someone turned the volume down. The sudden surges of heat lose their intensity. Her body stops storing fat in unpredictable ways, and she starts to feel more at home in her own skin. It's as if the lights in her house stop flickering. The thermostat calms down. The whole system finds a rhythm again. None of this is magic. It's simply what happens when the body receives the signals it was always designed to have. Hormone therapy helps guide the body back into balance, supporting temperature control, more peaceful sleep, more stable moods, clearer thinking, easier joints, greater comfort, and a body that doesn't fight so hard to store fat around the belly. Not instantly, and not perfectly, but gradually, gently, and with a reliability many women never expected to feel again. But even with all its benefits, hormone therapy has its limits. It can't dissolve stress. It can't take the place of movement, nourishment, rest, or the way you care for yourself. It can't undo years of habits, and it certainly can't rewrite your genetics. What hormones can do is quiet the storm inside your body. They can steady the ground beneath your feet, but they can't rebuild the entire house for you. This matters because many women hope for a complete transformation. But HRT isn't about becoming someone new. It's about helping your system find balance again. Think of it as recalibration, a gentle reset that allows your body to work with you instead of against you. Your body still needs your choices, your routines, and your rhythms. Hormones simply give you a fair starting point again. To understand why so many women still fear hormone therapy, we need to return to a moment in history that changed everything. In 2002, the Women's Health Initiative released early results, suggesting that hormone therapy might raise the risk of breast cancer and heart disease. The reaction was instant. Headlines exploded across newspapers and television screens. Hormones cause cancer. HRT is dangerous. Stop taking it. Almost overnight, millions of women threw away their prescriptions. But what those headlines didn't reveal was that the study itself had serious issues. Most of the women in the trial were around 63 years old. Many were more than 10 years past menopause. And the hormones used were older, synthetic versions, not the modern, body-identical hormones used today. Years later, when researchers revisited the data, the picture changed dramatically. The risks had been misinterpreted. The conclusions had been simplified into fear. And the panic, in many cases, was unnecessary. Organizations like the Endocrine Society and the British Menopause Society reviewed the updated evidence. Their message was clear. Risk isn't one size fits all. It depends on the type of hormone, how it's delivered, and most importantly, the age at which therapy begins. This is the part the headlines never corrected. So what does the modern science actually show? When it comes to breast cancer, most of the concern from the early WHI findings was linked to a specific synthetic progestin. Modern, body-identical progesterone behaves very differently with a much lower risk profile. And estrogen alone used for women without a uterus did not increase breast cancer risk at all. Blood clot risk tells a similar story. While oral estrogen may slightly raise the chance of clots, patches and gels bypass the liver entirely, and the chance of clotting remains extremely low. And when we look at heart disease and stroke, the story shifts again. Starting hormone therapy early, before age 60, or within 10 years of menopause, is associated with lower risk, according to both NAMS and updated WHI analyses. What all of this shows is simple. The fear never came from hormone therapy itself. It came from the way the therapy was used, the age of the women receiving it, and the outdated forms of hormones they were given. Modern hormone therapy is not the hormone therapy of the early 2000s. When women begin modern hormone therapy, the change rarely announces itself with a dramatic moment. There's no sudden burst of fireworks, no overnight transformation. The shift comes quietly. A woman realizes she can focus again, almost without noticing when that clarity returned. She hears herself laugh, really laugh for the first time in months. She gets through the night without waking drenched in heat. Her heartbeat feels steadier. Her reactions feel more natural, more grounded, more like her. Her body stops behaving like an unpredictable machine and starts to feel like an ally again, a companion instead of a battlefield. In documentary interviews, women often describe it the same way. I feel like myself again. Not younger, not changed, just restored. And there's science behind that restoration. Estrogen helps maintain bone strength. It influences how the heart functions under pressure. It supports neurotransmitters that shape mood, focus, and emotional stability. It affects how the body stores fat and how easily that fat can shift. It plays a role in the health of the bladder, the vagina, the urethra, the skin, and even the way memory and concentration work. When these systems receive support, the improvements don't stay in just one place. They ripple outward. They show up in better sleep, clearer thinking, steadier emotions, stronger relationships, and a daily life that feels far more manageable. Women don't choose hormone therapy out of vanity. They choose it because it helps them reclaim their quality of life, the kind of life that feels balanced, capable, and fully inhabited. But hormone therapy isn't the right choice for every woman. There are situations where it must be approached with caution. Women who are living with active breast cancer, women who have unexplained vaginal bleeding, women with a history of serious blood clots, women with significant liver disease, or women whose medical history creates specific risks, they may need a different path. This doesn't make their symptoms any less real. It doesn't mean their experience matters any less. It simply means their bodies require another strategy, another form of support. There are many non-hormonal options that can offer real relief. But in this documentary, we're focusing on hormone therapy itself, what it can do, what it can't, and how it fits into the larger picture of midlife health. Here is the clearest and simplest conclusion we can draw from modern science. For most healthy women under 60, who begin hormone therapy within 10 years of entering menopause, and who use modern body-identical hormones through patches, gels, or sprays, HRT is considered safe. This is supported by the North American Menopause Society, the Endocrine Society, the British Menopause Society, and by updated, corrected findings from the Women's Health Initiative. It isn't perfect. No therapy ever is. And it isn't right for every woman. But it is far safer and far more effective than the world was once led to believe. And there's another part of the story that rarely gets discussed. When women avoid HRT entirely, there can be risks on the other side of that decision. As estrogen declines, bone strength drops rapidly, increasing the likelihood of osteoporosis and fractures later in life. Cholesterol patterns can shift, which may raise cardiovascular risk for some women. Sleep quality often worsens, and poor sleep affects everything: mood, metabolism, memory, and long-term health. And without estrogen's natural support, some women experience more rapid changes in body composition, including an increase in visceral belly fat, which is the type most associated with metabolic strain. None of this means every woman must take hormones. It simply means the picture is more complex than the fear-based headlines ever suggested. For many women, choosing not to use hormones may carry more long-term risk than choosing to use them, especially when started at the right time, with the right type, in the right hands. And that is the part of the story the headlines never told you. If this journey helped you understand HRT in a calmer, clearer way, imagine what it would feel like to receive guidance that continues beyond this video. That's why I created the Midlife Balance Institute, a place where women in midlife finally receive the science, the support, and the structure they deserve. So let me ask you something. Do you want to walk this transition guessing? Or do you want to walk it informed, confident, and supported? If the answer is yes, join us inside the Midlife Balance Institute. Your clarity, your balance, and your confidence are not behind you. They are ahead, waiting to return. I'll see you inside.